Okay, Instagram, I'm sorry I kind of look like a dirtbag today, but I'm super excited. It's a very, very big day. Okay, where do I even start? I guess I'll start from the beginning, which is that when Parler got taken out of the App Store, if you're like me, you're just so tired of everyone complaining about these hideous things that happen. Parler gets taken out of the App Store. Trump gets taken off social media. Everyone's like, oh my God, big tech's a problem. Big tech's so bad. Oh my God, I hate big tech. We gotta fight big tech censorship. Big tech, big tech, big tech. And nobody actually does anything, and Congress does nothing. And, you know, me, I'm suing the Facebook fact checkers. I take on every single fight. My husband, after January 6th, not before, after, we contacted the people that were running Parler and said, how can we help? And so my husband's now the CEO of Parler. Like, we're do people, not complain people. So I put out basically a call to everyone, and I said, we need to have a phone that is made that is not controlled by Apple or Google. And, you know, I notoriously tweeted, we need Elon Musk to make the e-phone. And a bunch of people contacted me and my husband and said, we're making a phone, and it's not going to be controlled by Apple or Google. And I was like, okay, you talk a big game, send us the phones. So some of them were absolutely terrible. Some of them were even worse than terrible. Finally, we got a phone, and I cannot be more excited about it. And I'm telling you today, you need to get this phone. I'm so on board with this. I said I want to be the biggest spokesperson for this phone. Just by the way, give me some credit. I have been on social media for 4 years. You've been following me for 4 years. I have never, ever once, think about how big this is, pitched a product at you. Never, not once. I have sponsors coming to me all the time. I don't pitch any products. I'm not here to be an Instagram celebrity and be like, oh my God, let me get you tummy tea. If it does not help save the nation, I don't pitch it. Okay. So I'm serious when I'm telling you to stop everything that you are doing. And I'm holding in my hand, literally, a smartphone that is not controlled by Apple or Google. Okay. So think about this. This is like how I'm trying to, let me just open it and not put my passcode on the freaking internet so that, you know, I'm not one of those idiots. So this is called the Freedom Phone. If you use my code Candace, you can get 10% off. You go to freedomphone.com. Look at this. It's an actual smartphone. You're going, that looks like an Android. That's because it is an Android. And you're going, how is that possible? Android, come to find out, is not it's open source, meaning it was created not for Google. Actually, it was created for Microsoft. So unlike the Apple iOS system, unlike the Apple phone, you can rejig this. And this is what this guy, Eric Finman, who I've known for years, brilliant kid. I call him a kid because he was known as the Bitcoin teenager millionaire. He was like 17 and became a multimillionaire off of Bitcoin. And he's very involved in tech. And he basically figured out that it's a completely different operating system, rejig the Android. So it's an Android phone, but it's not for Google or by Google. This is a Freedom phone. I'm holding a freaking phone that is not controlled by Apple or Google. We made the switch immediately. So you're going, how do I make the switch that easily? I'm going to try to answer the first questions that came to my mind, because if you're like me and you're not like, know a lot about tech, then you're probably asking the same questions that probably have the same questions going through your head. So the first question I had going through my head is like, how am I going to make my phone? Like, can I keep my number? That was my first question. And I'm sure that I sound like pretty basic. The answer is yes. You literally just, every single phone has a SIM card. You pop out your SIM card and you insert your SIM card into here. That's it. Suddenly you have this. You will notice that it comes preloaded with these apps. Instagram, I added. I'm going to show you how I did that. They have, instead of the Apple Store or the Google Store, what they've created at the Freedom Phone is the Patriot app. Look at that. So that's literally, these are apps. This is if I want to download the Facebook app, I could download it. Like, these are Patriot apps. You go to the Patriot App Store and you can pick what app you want. So you're not going to be like, oh, but I need this app. You can still get any app that's available in the world via the Patriot App Store. This is just not controlled by Google or Apple, which means that when something like Parler takes off, Google and the Apple lords can't get together and go, we're going to get rid of it, right? And or similarly, I think they also got rid of the InfoWars app. I might be wrong, but I know a lot of people watch InfoWars, and they said, you know what, no more Alex Jones is on the platform, so we don't sell that app in the Apple Store. Well, that's not a problem. Doesn't matter what app it is, whether or not people think you're crazy for wanting to listen to InfoWars, whether or not you're like, I love InfoWars, you should have a right to make the decision for yourself. This is what the Patriot app allows you to do, right? Parler, oh, they didn't want Trump's voice. They said, okay, well, we can get him off of Twitter, we can get him off Facebook, but we don't control Parler. So they just got rid of the entire app, and everyone sat back and let it happen. No more. Freedom Phone. Literally, I'm holding a phone that is not controlled by Apple and Google. I think this is like the most amazing thing ever. So there's nothing really to say about how this app works. It's literally an Android, but it's not owned by Google. It's just just the Android rewired. And they put this phone together by a bunch of different pieces. I asked where it came from. They said all over the world the parts came from. It's assembled in Hong Kong. And it's just a phone for us. And I say for us, I mean people that believe that we have the decisions to decide what apps we want on our own phone without having Google or Apple intervene, because they're trying to make sure that we can't have our conversations, that we can't listen to different perspectives. I mean, if they could control the entire world, they would have all of us have one phone, and the one app would be CNN. I'll tell you one thing, CNN is not going to be on this app. It's not going to be on my phone. You can make decisions on your own. How much? Great question, Rebecca Reeves. This phone costs $500. If you use the code Candace, you will get 10% off. That's correct. I wanted to double check. You will get 10% off if you use the code Candace at checkout, but you can't use Apple Pay. So if you want to get the 10% off, then you need to go to just pay like via your credit card or different checkout processes. Don't use Apple Pay, because when you use Apple Pay gets like something weird. So just check out normally without using Apple Pay, and you can get 10% off by using just my first name, Candace. I think you literally need to get this phone today. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as possible, but keep in mind, I'm not the biggest tech person. So after I drop this onto my Instagram page, people that work for the Freedom Phone, they're going to answer all of your questions. So just ask and ask and ask away. Somebody earlier asked, is it on 5G? No, it's on 4G. So I want to answer that question. It's not on 5G. Whether or not you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's the answer to the question. Okay. People are sending, please speak up and bring light to what's happening in Cuba. I did earlier. This right now is actually, if you want to talk about Cuba and how this correlates, I mean, in terms of people trying to stop communications, that's where we're at the beginning of what ends up. Cuba's at the end of what happens when you come into a communist country. We're at the beginning of what happens when a country becomes communist, when they try to control all the means of communication, when they control all of the media, when they try to control everything that goes into your mind. This is a solution to the beginning phase. This is called the Freedom Phone. Freedomphone.com. You can use discount Candace at checkout, but don't use Apple Pay. If you want that 10% discount, use Candace. Does it work internationally? That is a great question. Yes. Anywhere in the world that you are. Yes, you can get this in Ireland. Yes, you can get this anywhere in the entire world. All you literally have to do is take your chip out. I keep calling it a chip. That's not the right word, but I'm not great at tech. Your SIM card, take your SIM card out and you place it into this phone, and that is it. It works. Turns on. That's literally what I did. I put my SIM card into here. I turned the phone on, and here we are, Freedom Phone. There's nothing else to show you, because it's just like, these are the pre-downloaded apps. So this is Newsmax, OAN. This is Parler. We've got Telegram over here. That's locals in this corner. I showed you guys the Patriot App Store, which is at the bottom. You hit this little shopping bag, and any app that you want, you can just download. So like, you still get all your games. Like this is just apps, right? So those apps are created because they've been created for Androids, not for Google, but for Androids. You can still get all of these apps in the Patriot App Store. And again, Google and Apple cannot tell you that you can't get the app. That is why this is so amazing. Like, you can, any app that you want, you can still get. Is it made in the USA? The parts are actually from all around the world. Even some parts are from Africa. It's assembled in Hong Kong, not in China mainland. But in Hong Kong, obviously, they've been having their own fight for freedom in Hong Kong. And there's a lot of reasons about that. You'd have to know a little bit about more production to understand why literally you cannot assemble anything in America these days, which is what Trump was obviously trying to fix. Are you sure? I'm not sure what that question means, but sure. I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure that you need to go to freedomphone.com. Buy this phone. It's $499. You'll get 10% off if you use the code Candace. I'm going to be talking about this nonstop in my stories. If you don't want to hear about the Freedom Phone, then you're not going to want to follow me for a little bit, because I'm telling you, we need to do this. Every patriot in America needs to get this phone. We need to make sure that we are no longer giving Apple and Google the power to decide what apps we're allowed to have on our phone. And if you think this is a joke, and you're thinking, oh my God, it's not that big of a deal if they keep Xing out apps, you've lost your mind. We are literally seeing the beginning of a communist country right now in this country. It's just crazy. I've never seen anything like it in terms of all of them trying to stem the flow of information, them trying to make sure that we don't communicate. They freaking censored the sitting president of the United States. They censored Donald J. Trump when he was sitting in office. How can you feel safe? How much storage? Great question. I have no idea, but I'm sure you can find out on the website, freedomphone.com. And again, more people will answer when you just keep asking all these questions. And I'll make sure people that work for Freedom Phone can answer them, because I mean, like particular tech questions, I'm not gonna lie, it's not like I just like wanted to know if the phone worked, asked them to send it to me. It works perfectly. iPhones have SIMs. Yes, they do, to whoever said that. So you pop the iPhone. That's what I did. I had an iPhone. I've been dying to get rid of it because first and foremost, the Droid just has a better camera, if anything else. And like Apple is just not getting better. They're getting more expensive. They're basically demanding that you buy their chargers, 1,000 different chargers that go into 1,000 different things. They update the charger every year, so you have to rebuy all the chargers. And I've been looking for a reason to migrate away from Apple because I didn't want to be one of those conservatives that's like, oh my God, I freaking hate Apple. Apple's so bad and so scary. And then like is constantly using iPhones and only using Apple. And this finally gave me the opportunity to ditch it and say, okay, I'm done with Apple products. I'm done with people that have turned their back on the countries that made them so phenomenal and great. Apple is Apple because we gave them the power. Don't forget that. Think about that. Apple is Apple because we decided to make their phones the biggest thing ever, because every single one of us went out and bought it. Google is Google because we decided to use their search engine and we decided to go buy their phones because every single one of us made them that powerful. I'm basically saying that right now we have the ability to do the exact same thing, remove some of their power by picking up a phone that cannot be taken out. So don't think, I know one of my questions was, well, can't AT&T or Verizon say, no, you can't have that phone? No, the answer is no, because they require a SIM card, and that SIM card fits into this phone. They all fit into this phone, no matter what SIM card you have. When you order the phone, your SIM card will pop into it and it works. They can't tell you what kind of phone to have. You still have to pay for their service. You're still gonna have to pay for your bill, but they don't get to tell you what phone you have. So they don't get to tell you what apps you get to have. So please, guys, this is like, the time to do it. Did I get a message? No, I didn't get a message. I'm just getting noises. No, I did get a message. Oh, I have Instagram on notifications. I think it's you guys right now blowing me up. Calm down. I had to like learn how to even use the freaking, I've never had a Droid. This is like the first time I've had a Droid, and the camera is just so much better. And I was looking for a reason to switch, and Google was not the reason to switch. The Freedom Phone is. Do you guys have any more questions? Please let us continue to concentrate on taking the power from big tech. They've proven they're anti-American. Yes, I agree 100%. That is why I am doing this. As I said, never in 4 years have I ever pitched a product to you guys. I think this is going to be the difference. Eric Finman, by the way, is the person, I think I said his name earlier, but I'm saying it again. If you want to look into him to see what he's about, he is definitely on a trajectory to be a billionaire, and he is on our side in terms of just believing in the freedoms in this country that we have to fight for. And I couldn't be happier to be a part of this. Like I want to talk about the Freedom Phone. I want every single person to have it. Freedomphone.com, use my code Candace. Freedomphone.com, use my code Candace. Any more questions that I can answer to you guys about this phone? And I just want to be clear, because I know a lot of people were getting confused. They were like, oh, is Facebook still going to censor us? It's like, yes, Facebook is an app. So there's nothing that this is a phone. So this is you having a phone that will allow you to get whatever apps you want, but this is not going to stop Facebook from censoring you. We're going to need a solution to Facebook. We don't have that right now. We need, obviously, like I said, it comes pre-downloaded with Parler, which is an answer to Twitter. It comes pre-downloaded with Rumble, which is an answer to YouTube. This is amazing stuff that you can see. And we expect in the near future that all of these apps, because they're gaining power and taking it away from the tech lords, are going to be censored from the Apple Store and the Google Store. This is the answer for that. So we are trying to get ahead of that by getting this Freedom Phone, which would mean that nobody can touch your apps anymore, and we can build these tech companies with confidence, knowing that they're not going to get banned by Apple and Google on the same day like so many other victorious companies, once upon a time victorious companies, were, because they have that much power. So we basically need to decentralize our tech system. Visit freedomphone.com, and the discount code again, it's just my first name, Candace. You get 10% off. You're going to hear me saying that a bunch of times. 10% off, first name Candace, whatever. I'm happy to partner with them. I'm actually ecstatic to partner with them, because this is a solution. It's not a complaint. It's a solution, and it tells you to stop giving your money to the companies that are censoring us. Any more questions, drop them in the comment. Freedomphone.com, and discount code Candace at checkout for 10% off. Bye, guys.